Indonesia. It is a country that is located in Southeast Asia and it is officially being called as Republic of Indonesia. It is being ruled by Joko Widodo, or more known as Jokowi, and he is the first president that did not come from an elite political or military background.
Indonesia consists of more than 17,000 volcanic and tropical islands, and it shares the land boundaries with Papua New Guinea, East Timor, and Malaysia. Indonesia's national motto is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. The phrase is an old Javanese word that means unity in diversity.
The national motto reflects people in Indonesia as they consist of several hundred of ethnic and linguistic groups throughout the country. Indonesia is a founding member of ASEAN and they are the member of the G20 major economies.
Indonesia's annual population growth rate between 2000 until 2010 was 1.49% on average. This rise was the highest in Papua province with 5.46% and the lowest in Central Jaya with 0.37%.
In recent years, there have been steady decrease in the rural population and this attribute to the expansion and also relocation of the developed area, especially for the employment and also the educational opportunities.
Jabodetabek stands for Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Bekasi is the third largest official metropolitan area of the world. There are more than 30 million people in the entire area, making it one of the largest urban areas in the world. In 2019, Indonesia's GDP size is 0.93% of the global economy. Between 2000 to 2004, Indonesia underwent the economic rejuvenation after the financial crisis in Asia, with average GDP growth of 4.6%.
Indonesia's production was more concentrated on food, textile, and tobacco than the manufactured goods, but the other sector also contribute a lot to the GDP. Agriculture continues to be a vital part of the Indonesian economy and it is rising approximately 30% at the present.
There are four growth drivers in Indonesia, which is the FDI, agricultural sector, automotive industry, and mining and manufacturing sector. Indonesia government has introduced the economic policy package for the FDI development and mainly focus on the enforcement of law and business and etc. For the agricultural, Indonesia has a wide variety of agricultural tropical products and the country is expected to continue to expand, although at a lower pace. The mining industry was one of the main industries that contribute to the Indonesia GDP and it offers considerable export profit, job and economic activities. Indonesia has become the second largest producer of motor vehicle in Asian region and majority of the vehicle assembled by local partners belong to the international brand.
Now, let's get to learn more about Indonesia in details. Carol, it's your turn.
Hello everyone, my name is Khairul Anam Al-Hakim Hidayatullah bin Qasim with matrix number 61127. Today I'm gonna talk about employment and unemployment labor force in Indonesia. Based on the Department of Statistics Indonesia, the total labor force in Indonesia increased from January 2016 to January 2019, which is from January 2016 at 12,767 million labor force to 13,618 million people labor force in January 2019. Employee labor force by category level of education. In overall, the number of open unemployment based on the highest education level in Indonesia shows the decreasing number from January 2016 from 702 million people to 681 people in January 2019. Education divided into 8 categories in Indonesia, which is do not have education, not finish elementary school, junior high school, senior high school, vocational school, diploma, and university. Employ people based on the age category in Indonesia also increased from January 2016 to January 2019. The highest number of age category that employ in January 2016 is around age 35 year to 39 year old, which is 154 million people, while in January 2019, the highest age employed is also same age, which is from 35 year to 39 year, which is at 159 million people. The employee labor force by category of level education in Indonesia, the highest education employee labor force, which is elementary school in below, around 52 million people in Indonesia. In Indonesia, they divide the work into formal and informal labor. In 2016, they recorded formal labor 53 million, while in informal labor 70 million. But this number increased to 2019 to 55 million for formal labor, while informal labor they also increased to 74 million. But I'm gonna talk about foreign workers by origin country in Indonesia. The number foreign workers by origin country for range year 2012 to year 2018 in Indonesia. In Indonesia, there are 8 countries of foreign workers that work in Indonesia, which is China, Japan, Korea, India, Malaysia, Australia, USA, and UK. In range 2012 to year 2018, the highest number contribute to the foreign workers in Indonesia is from China, followed by Japan, Korea, India, Malaysia, etc. While UK is the smallest number that contribute to the foreign workers in Indonesia for all year. The foreign workers in Indonesia can fulfill the vacancy in all sectors except in government administration for Indonesia. American Indonesian Chamber of Commerce state that Regulation 228/2019 state that require for foreigners to have at least 5 years of work experience, more than 8 for directors, commissioners, and the regulation to have transfer their Indonesian colleges or employees. Besides that, the government also require the foreign workers can speak Indonesian before can work in Indonesia. Employ people based on the industry. So here we're gonna see the employee labor force based on industry in Indonesia for February 2019. The highest employee labor force in Indonesia is in agriculture sector due to the country still focusing on the agriculture industry. which is 29.46% from all of the labor force employed in industry, while the second largest hire of employed labor force in Indonesia is in trade industry, which is 18.92%, and followed by manufacturing industry. There are three industries in Indonesia that employ labor force for small quantity, which is for industry water supply, real estate, electric and gas supply. That's all for my part. The next part will be presented by Goh Moili. Thank you.
I'm Goh Moili, and I'm going to explain further about the government agency that handling the foreign or domestic workers in the Republic of Indonesia. Government agency that responsible for the labor matter in Indonesia is called as Ministry of Manpower, MOM, or Kemnaker. MOM is responsible for issuing regulation on labor migration, monitoring the quality of the training center for overseas workers through its employment observation. The administration also approved the issuance of limited stay permit to the foreign employee. MOM functions are carried out through four departments, which were Industrial Relations and Social Security, that focus on strengthening partnership at the workplace, role of union and employer association, empowering the labor committees. Besides, it also experience on the concept and practices equal employment opportunity. Employment placement and expenses is a second department that cover on the recruitment and documentation of foreign workers such as visa and permit. In Indonesia, there are two types of employment visa available for foreign workers who planning to work and live in Indonesia. The first one is known as Izin Tinggal Terbatas, a limited stay permit, and Kartu Izin Tinggal Tetap, a permanent stay permit. Department of Training and Productivity, acting mostly as a trainer of trainers in the area of productivity and quality management and productivity measurement. Labor inspection within the MOM focus on the inspection area of working condition, occupational safety and health, women and child workers, and labor inspection capacity building. The main role of labor inspection is to enforce the country labor laws through labor inspection action. It also formulates policy, standard, norm, guideline, and also evaluation service in those areas. Okay guys, so next we will continue with the trade union in Indonesia. Labor movement in Indonesia was formed to unrest over wages, better working condition, and also fight for independence of the country through the collective bargaining. The formation of several unions in Indonesia was begun with the first union of employees of state railway and tramway in 1908. Up to the time of proclamation of the independence in 1945, trade unionism in Indonesia have been weak and it grows slow. This was partly because the Dutch government tried to restrict trade union by limiting freedom of association and by prohibiting strike. In 1946, the Central Council of All Indonesia Trade Union (SOBSI) was founded, representing all unions. The organization initially included both left and right-wing unions, but when it supported the abortive communist revolt in 1948, some unions, mainly the government employees, left SOBSI. All Indonesia Congress of Workers (KBSI) was formed in 1953 as a non-political union center, and the union also cooperated with the Socialist Party. Its main strength is among non-communist railway and plantation workers. However, the non-communist organization fell due to the largely to political and religious differences, and in sequence, they have been much less influent than SOBSI. Not only that, local unions are often combined with national union by industrial, and these are further linked into central organization and multi-industrial federation. Earlier positive approach to trade union did not long last. By the time Suharto took power in 1965 with the formal establishment of the New Order government in 1968, the government policy towards the trade union movement was to remove it from politics and forced union to focus only on small-scale social and economic issues. Despite the increase in the number of sectoral union and federation at the national level, the basic unit of organization in Indonesia clearly remains the company-based union and branch. Where national union are influencer, their influence tends to be concentrated at the sectoral level rather than in the confederation. However, in 2017, the membership of labor union have decreased significantly due to the bad image of the labor union, where they are also called as troublemaker in the country. Okay guys, so next we'll be presenting by Mas Liana. Mas.
Hi, today I'm going to share about employment law in Indonesia.
Employment in Indonesia is Law Number 13, 2003 on manpower. According to labor law, Article 88, every worker has the right to earn a living that is decent from the viewpoint of humanity. The amount of the basic wage must not be less than 75% of the total amount wage. The specific minimum wages of specific employees is determined by the sector-based minimum wages within a given provision, district, and city. In 2020, minimum wages in Indonesia is around 4.28 million rupiah per month. It is referring to the minimum wages in the Jakarta region, which are the highest in the country. Wages will not be paid when workers do not perform their work. Exception for workers do not perform their work due to the following reason in Article 93. Any demand for the payment of the workers' wages and all other demands for the payment that arise from unemployment relations shall expire after the passage of a period of 2 years since such claims first come into being. Employment of women. The government of the Republic of Indonesia also pay attention to its female workers in several regulations in labor law, such as
Moreover, pregnant employees are entitled to take 3 months paid maternity leave. A worker who has a miscarriage also entitled 1.5 months rest period, provided this is recommended in a medical statement. Employers must provide proper opportunities to female workers whose baby still need breastfeeding to breastfeed their babies if this must be performed during working hours. In Article 77 of the Labour Law stipulates working hours into 2 categories as follows.
the period of a break between working hours shall be not shorter than half hour after working for 4 consecutive hours. Employees are entitled 12 days for annual leave after 12 months of continuous service. Employer must provide paid sick leave to employees with a medical certificate without limit as to the number of days per year. Moreover, female employees are entitled to maternity leave of 3 months. An employee also entitled 2 days paid family leave where the employee's child get married or in the event of the death of an employee's family member. Article 156 of the Labour Law. Employees who are discharged from their job are entitled to receive termination compensation such as To be able to work in Indonesia, employers who employ foreign workers must prepare a foreign workers recruitment plan, foreign workers recruitment permit, and limited stay visa. The foreign workers can only be employed in Indonesia in a working relationship for a specific position and period of the employment.
The period of validity of the foreign labour period is at least 1 year and can be extended in accordance with the decree of the Ministry of Manpower and Transmigration. Foreign workers are prohibited from occupying positions that manage personnel and specific departments. Moreover, the employer must appoint an Indonesian counterpart to work with the foreign worker to ensure the transfer of skills from the foreign worker to the counterpart. Employer who employ foreign workers is obliged to adhere to the provision of the position and the prevailing competency standards. The foreign worker must have competency certificate or experience in the field that will be occupied at least 5 years before occupying the position. Foreign workers who are working in Indonesia for more than 6 months are obligated to join national social security such as the Old Age Security Program, Pension Security Program, Healthcare Security, Occupational Accident Security Program, and Death Security Program. Sorry, something urgent came up. Rose? Rose? Rose, please continue.
Hi guys, so basically continuing on from what my friend explained just now, there are 3 things that I'll be sharing with you guys today. The first one will be the minimum retirement age for Indonesia. The second one is on child labor, and lastly will be on social security. So let's go.
The first one is minimum retirement age in Indonesia. The minimum retirement age in Indonesia originally is 56 years old. However, as of January 2019, the minimum retirement age increased to 57 years old. And the reason for this is because they wish to have a 65 years old minimum retirement age in the future. How they implement this is by increasing 1 year old of retirement age for every 3 years. Now, the main law or the main source for the labor law in Indonesia is the law number 13 of 2003 on manpower. Next up is child labor. Now, the minimum age for a child to be allowed to work is actually 15 years old, according to the Indonesian National Labor of Law. However, children of age 13 to 15 years old are allowed to work in condition that the work is not dangerous and not interfering with their school. However, Indonesia by the year 2020 wishes to eliminate all forms of child labor. Indonesia even created a roadmap towards a child labor-free Indonesia 2020 by the Minister of Manpower Republic of Indonesia. Now, this is to support the National Action Plan for the Elimination of the Worst Form of Child Labor, NAPEWFCL. Moving on to the last one, which is the Social Security. Social Security laws under BPJS laws, there are 5 programs. The 5 programs are Healthcare Security, Work Accident Security, Old Age, also known as Provident Fund, Pension, and also Death Benefits. Now, the reason for this Social Security or the purpose of Social Security is to increase standard of living when employee encounter loss due to loss in income caused by accident, old age, and retirement. Under Social Security program, all employer must enroll their employee under the pension program.
So that's all from me. Bye bye.
Industrial relations definitions recognize the complex interaction between the main labor, which is the employer, employee and the representative, which is the union, and also the government. Each one of them have a different needs and goal in which decide how they communicate.
Both Indonesia and Malaysia NGOs are actively involved in regional networks that promote the rights of migrant workers in Asia.
In Malaysia, there are 3 types of trade union, which is the public sector, private sector, and also the employees union. There are about 591 unions in Malaysia and approximately 800,000 members. However, Malaysia government are continues to be criticized for its long-standing policy on the workers' right and also the freedom to operate the association.
There are 4 major unions in Indonesia, which is the KSPSI Rekonsiliasi, KSPSI Congress Jakarta, CITU, and KSBSI.
Trade unions in Indonesia face the challenge including promoting the rights to bargain, lack of protection for the migrant workers, forced labor, and etc. A complete harmony between the labor and the capital may be a dream, but it can be abolished through the efficient management of the industrial relations.
That's all from our group, and thank you for watching.